So, another issue that we are going to discuss today is all about poverty. So, poverty is one of the major problems, not just in our country, but all over the world. It can be found anywhere and anytime. So, every one of us used to live a normal life with our families. Our parents work hard for our futures. All children must attend to school and earning enough money to meet our daily needs. So, but due to poverty, many people are suffering. Children are not able to go to school, and some individuals don't have a work. That is why we ourselves and government should address poverty. Next slide po. Our objectives for today is all about to define what is poverty and discuss the types of poverty. To be able to know the different theories of poverty. The third one is to determine the causes of poverty. And the last but not the least is to identify the solutions and programs on how to eradicate poverty. Next slide po. So this is what poverty looks like. So as we can see in the picture, we already know that children are deprived to live a happy life. Some people live in a squatter area, which is the first picture. So which squatter area is not a clean environment and people that live there might have a physical health issue. Of course, it is illegal because they don't own the land that they built their houses. So poverty one of the reason why there is a child labor. As we can see in the last picture. So the child are forced to work due to financial problems. Children children forced to work at an early age to survive on their daily necessities. Next slide po. Definition of poverty. So, poverty is not a condition that concerns only a lack of money and resources. So, it means that poverty is multifaceted that also includes economic, political, and social elements. So, karamihan sa mga bansa, particularly sa Pilipinas, poverty is isa sa kinakaharap natin na kung saan ay karamihan sa atin naaapektuhan. Maraming tao ang nakakaranas ng gutom, malnutrition, especially yung mga kabataan. So, according to UN, poverty is a denial of choices and opportunities, violation of human dignity. So, sa pagpapatuloy ng Sa pagpatuloy ng paglala ng kahirapan, marami ang naapektuhan. So, isa na rito ang pagkakaroon ng health issues. Marami ang nagkasakit kasi wala silang pambayad para makapagpagamot sa ospital at wala silang pambili ng gamot. So dito, sinasabi na ang poverty ay denial of choices and opportunities. For example, if yung isang bata ay hindi nakapag-aral, excuse me, dahil sa kakulangan ng pera at walang sapat na tirahan at makakain, of course, yung bata is mahirapan talaga siya makahanap ng trabaho paglaki niya. So karamihan nga sa yung mga nakapag-graduate ngayon, nahihirapan sila maghanap ng trabaho. Yun pa kaya yung mga batang hindi nakapag-aral. So halimbawa, yung dati sikat yung sa Pure Gold, yung qualifications ng yung qualifications para mag-hire ng employee, kailangan doon is college graduate. So if yung isang individual, kung hindi siya nakakapag-aral, of course, hindi siya matatanggap doon kasi hindi naman siya qualified doon sa pinag-a-applyan niya. So, dito, sinasabi din ni Mahatma Gandhi, poverty is the worst form of violence. So, once na ang isang tao ay walang trabaho, maaari siyang gumawa ng karahasan. Halimbawa, yung pagnanakaw. So, yung isang tao magnakaw siya para may mapakain sa kanyang pamilya, which is hindi naman talaga niya dapat gawin. Pero yun na ang naisipan niyang paraan para makabili siya ng pangunahing pangangailangan, which is pagkain, tsaka yung mga gamot at tubig. So, dito, poverty is a condition characterized by severe deprivation of basic human needs, including food, safe drinking water, sanitation facilities, health, education, and information. So, wait lang po. Another example pa lang dun sa violation of human dignity is yung human trafficking. So, kadalasan yung human trafficking ay nangyayari sa OFW. Minsan, may mga agency na nag-aalok ng employee para magiging DH sa ibang bansa. Pero, ang ending pagdating doon, yung mga OFW, hindi pala yun yung gagawin nila. So, hindi pala yun yung gagawin nila. Minsan, kinukuha yung mga passport ng ng mga OFW para hindi sila makatakas. So, doon sa yung sa poverty condition. Dati, yung last time diniscuss ni Ma'am Christina, everyone has the right in dignity and to participate fully in society. But due to poverty, the rights of people denies. Poverty affects economics and social rights. So which is yung na-violate yung rights ng isang tao na karapatan niya magtrabaho. So dito din sinasabi na yung sa poverty condition characterized by severe deprivation. Ibig sabihin, yung mga tao ay pinagkaitan sa kanilang basic needs such as pagkain, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina. So, sinasabi dun sa Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights to a standard living Declaration of Human Rights. So, to a standard living adequate for health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care and necessary social services. So, lahat tayo ay may karapatan, no? However, people living in poverty often lack the means of secure the basic necessities. Since poor people are denied their fundamental rights inherent in UDHR and other national and international rights, so therefore, poverty is considered as human right issue. So, according dito, 870 million people, one-eighth of the world population are suffering from chronic undernourishment, World Hunger Education Service 2013. So, it is cause of death for approximately 22,000 children every day. People living in impoverished area have limited access to clean water, nutritious food, education, and proper healthcare. So, sinasabi dito na every day, merong 22,000 children ang namatay, which is dahil kulang sila sa mga pagkain at malinis na pagkain, tubig, at wala silang sapat na tirahan. Kaya yun yung epekto ng poverty. Next slide po. So, types of poverty. Number 1 is absolute poverty or destitution. So, this refers to the state of severe deprivation of basic human needs like food, clothing, shelter, clean water, sanitation, educational, and access to healthcare. So, absolute poverty is also called extreme or abject poverty. So, families who are experiencing this type of poverty tend to focus on day-to-day survival. So, this is the lowest and most hopeless form of poverty. So, ito ay nararanasan ng mga taong salat sa buhay. So, karamihan sa nakikita natin, yung ibang tao ay naghahanap ng pagkain sa hindi gaanong kanais-nais na kondisyon, which is basurahan. Tapos, minsan din ay yung mga bata ay natutulog sa kalsada gamit yung mga karton para may mahigaan dahil sa kawalan ng sapat na pera at tirahan. The second one is relative poverty. So, relative poverty is defined contextually as economic inequality in location or which people live. This type of poverty is, on the other hand, changeable depending on the economic growth of the country. So, ito ay tumutukoy sa kalagayang pang-ekonomiya ng isang pamilya na ang kita ay hindi sapat upang matugunan ang karaniwang antas ng pamumuhay. So, ang mga sambayan ay tumatanggap ng 50% bawat mababa kaysa sa karaniwang kita sa bawat household. Ibig sabihin, meron silang kaunting pera, pero hindi pa rin sapat para bumili ng yung wants and desires nila. So, dito sa relative poverty, yung makakayanan lang nila is yung basic needs. Hindi na sila makapagbili ng ng ibang pangangailangan like yung mga gadgets, hindi na nila yun mabili kasi yung hindi pa rin sapat yung pera nila. Yung number 3, situational poverty. It is a temporary type of poverty based on occurrence of an adverse event like environmental disaster, job loss, and severe health problem. So example dito is sa situational poverty is yung pandemic. So karamihan sa mga tao nung kasagsagan ng pandemic ay nawala ng trabaho. Marami ang naapektuhan ng retrenchment o pagbabawas ng mga employee. Tapos, ang iba ay permanenteng sinasara ang kanilang pinagtrabahuhan. Kahit na may mga ayuda na binibigay, hindi pa rin sapat lalong-lalo na dun sa pinakaapektuhan ng pamilya. Another example sa situational poverty is yung bagyo tsaka sunog. So for example, if magkakaroon ng sunog at bagyo, yung mga pamilya yung mga naaapektuhan na pamilya dun is babalik siya sa zero kasi yung mga gamit nila is natangay sa sunog or for example sa bagyo. So magkakaroon talaga ng hirap at magkakaroon talaga sila ng mahirapan talaga silang bumangon ulit. The next slide po. The fourth one is generational poverty. So it is handed over to individual and families from one generation to the one. This is more complicated as there is no escape because the people are trapped in its cause and unable to access the tools required to get out of it. So these types of poverty occurs in family at least 2 generations. So the main causes of this type of poverty is lack of family planning. Parents are most able to sustain their children's needs. To end this generational poverty, children should given a chance to have a free access to education. So generational poverty. So I think para ito sa mga batang yung for example is teenage pregnancy. So teenage pregnancy is isa sa dahilan ng generational poverty. Doon, number 5. Ay, wait lang. Generational poverty pa po pala. So, it is number 5 na po pala. Rural poverty. It occurs in rural areas with population below 50,000. It is the area where there are less job opportunities, less access to services, less support for disabilities, and quality education opportunities. Okay. So, rural poverty, it is understood that this type of poverty happened in rural areas such as province. So, ang pangunahing pangkabuhayan dito is farmer at saka pangingisda. So, dito sa rural poverty, may share ako dati nung sa province pa kami. So, marami yung tao doon ang naapektuhan dahil there is one time na merong crisis. So, yung mga presyo ng bilihin is nagmamahal. So, dati din yung sa rural poverty, i-share ko din na yung mga tao, imbis na bibili kami ng white corn, kasi doon sa amin, hindi kami kumakain minsan lang kami makakakain ng palay, bigas na palay. Tsaka, lang yun. Tapos nung nagkaroon ng crisis, naranasan namin magkaroon ng kumain ng yellow corn. So, nakakasuka. Instead na yung white corn kinakain namin, yellow corn na lang kasi di ba nagkaroon ng crisis. So, marami ang naapektuhan. Tapos, so, wait lang. So, hindi talaga namin choice na kumain noon. Pero wala kaming choice kundi kumain ng yellow corn kasi magugutom talaga kami if wala kaming hindi kami kakain. Number 6 is
Bakit yung yellow corn ay para bang ibang level ng yellow corn sa inyo? Saan probinsya ka?
Sir, sa kami po, sa Sambuanga del Norte po.
Ibig sabihin, kapag white corn ang kinakain nyo, mas okay pa?
Oo, kasi mas masarap pa yun, may lasa. Yung yellow corn pa.
Alam mo, mas binibili daw po kumakain ng white corn, baliktad tayo. Mas hinahanap ko yellow corn naman. Okay. Sabagay, iba-iba tayo. Sabi nga, that is rural poverty Depende nga Talagang iba yung perspektibo pag nasa rural ka. So, I got some idea from you. Okay, continue.
Yung sa urban poverty. Urban poverty refers to the set of economic and social difficulties that are found in industrialized cities and that are the result of combination of processes such as the establishment of comfortable living standards, the increase of individualism processes of social fragmentation, and the dualization of the labor market, which translates into social dualization. So this type of poverty takes place in the urban areas, which is the city. For example, dun sa Manila. So maraming mga taong doon nakikita natin maraming mga taong hindi pa rin nakakapagtrabaho kasi nga patuloy na dumarami yung population. So yung ibang mga tao ay walang sapat na tirahan. Yung tinitirhan nila is unhealthy environment which kaya marami ang nagkakasakit. So marami ring mga batang hindi nakapag-aral lalo na ngayong pandemic. Tapos yung iba ay napilitang tumigil sa pag-aaral. Kasi dahil sa kakulangan ng pera. Next slide po. So, ito yung table na yung sa global poverty. So, below the table compares the 2016 and 2017 version of the global and regional poverty estimates for 2013. So, makikita natin sa table na pataas yung percent ng mga taong naghihirap. So, the total number of poor increased by 2.5 million. So from 766.0 to 768.5 million. So nakikita natin na tumataas yung percent nila. Next slide po. So the theories of poverty. Structural theories. The power of society over the individual and believe that the individual is largely controlled by society. So the society exists that within an individual as a set of norms and values. These models the individual's thoughts and guides their action. So structural poverty means that people are in poverty because they find themselves in holes in the economic system that delivers them from inadequate income. So structural theories is like Marxist theories. Sinasabi nga dito na individual is largely controlled by society. So kagaya ng paniniwala sa Marxist theory, sinasabi na poor are poor because they are powerless and exploited. For example dito is yung sa child trafficking. Kadalasan nangyari pa din ito. Lalong-lalo na if yung isang tao ay walang-wala talaga. So, naisipan niya gawin ito. Yung taong naglagay sa sitwasyon ng bata ay nag-take advantage siya para magkaroon ng profit. So, structural theories explain poverty in terms of conditions under which the poor live. So, the main reason are unemployment, underemployment, for education and for health. Political theories. Contend that power institutions cause policy which causes poverty and moderate the relationship between them. So I think one of the reason why there is a political choice, there is a political choice of poverty is dahil sa poor governance. So if the government leaders are corrupt, yung maraming tao ang maraming tao ang maaapektuhan kasi because instead nagagamitin yung pera para sa mga tao, para sa isang program. O halimbawa yung sa bill sa hospital, yung sa PhilHealth. So tapos if nanakawin yun ng gobyerno. So maapektuhan talaga yung mga tao. Cultural tourists concentrate on individual behaviors as driven by incentives and culture. So cultural tourists find the explanation for poverty in the traits of the poor themselves. So ibig sabihin, ang tao ay naghihirap dahil lang din sa kanilang kapabayaan. For example, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, teenage pregnancy, walang paulit-ulit eh. Kadalasan, ito ay nangyayari sa mga kabataan kasi instead na mag-aral yung inaatupag, ang ginagawa ay iba. Ang pinagtutuunan ng pansin ay iba. So napapansin natin minsan kung sino pa yung hirap sa buhay, yun pa talaga ang maagang nagkakaanak kasi nga inuuna nila yung pansariling kasiyahan. Kaya ang resulta, mas lalong naghihirap kasi aasa na naman sa magulang. Tapos, kasi aasa na naman sa magulang. So, kaya papasok dito yung generational poverty. So, if yung magulang, hirap na nga, tapos yung anak, susunod na naman. So, magkakaroon ng generational poverty. So, kaya kailangan yung, para maiwasan yung teenage pregnancy or another issue, dapat yung mga bata, education, isa talaga sa pangunahing education is very important so that without education, people are lack of knowledge and it might result to the different problems like that enable us to become poorer and poorer. Last, yung the opportunity theory of poverty. So, opportunity theory of poverty argues that people are poor because they have limited human capital as well as limited success opportunities compared to the wealthy. So, sinasabi dito na mas lalong naghihirap ang isang tao dahil sa kakulangan at limitadong access ng mga oportunidad. So, according to this theory, the social system is set up in which a way that some groups are more likely to succeed than others. So, ibig sabihin, yung mahirap compared sa mga yun lang pala, sir. Sir, next na yung sa causes tsaka sa solution.
Okay. Sige, talagang may buto ka na. So, okay. Wag kang magalit sa mama mo, ha? So, let's look on that. Okay. Can you please makikibalik dun sa pakibalik dun sa isang part dun bago mag-theory sa poverty. Before I go to that aspect, sino ang ating discussion?
Ako ba, sir?
Okay,
classmates,
ka
ako
namang discussion. Okay, ako muna. We're going to analyze it. We're going to look on it. There are some the definition of poverty, it depends. On Monday, after the presentation of Bernadette, I will show you ano ang sinasabi ng National Economic and Development Authority o NEDA, paano mo sabi maginhawa ang pamumuhay ng isang Pilipino. So you will be shocked. Next meeting na dapat pala ganito pala ang hawak kong pera, dapat pala ganito. So pertaining to that, we define poverty in different aspects. Sometimes we define poverty pag wala kang makain. Minsan may nakain ka naman, hindi mo mabili ang gusto mo, poverty na rin ba yun? So, ang dami. So, in that theories, Bernadette already explained that there are some theories that will explain bakit mayroong poverty. Sabi niya, in structural, because of our structure. Yes, he is correct. She is correct that she cited that there's what we call Marxism or the Marxist theory according to Karl Marx. Because of the structure, our society dictates who will be rich, who will be the poor, because it is the structure, meron talaga mahirap, meron mayaman. Yung struktura, sabi nila, Hindi pwedeng pantay-pantay. Ang sabi ni Karl Marx ay, no, dapat baliktarin ang tatlo. Sabi nga ni Bamboo, baliktarin mo. Yung mahirap na nasa baba ng pyramid, ang siyang dapat makinabang dahil sila ang nagbubungkal. Sila ang ang nagiging human resource sa ating industry. But the problem is, we cannot able to achieve that because there's no such thing as absolute society or a perfect society, utopian society that every one of us will become rich. No, that is not that is not a good ideas na dapat lahat tayo ay mayaman o lahat tayo hindi magiging maayos na lipon dahil magkakaroon ng tulad sinasabi natin sa economics, makakaubusan. Kasi lahat tayo ay merong kakayahang bumili. Political poverty because yes, she cited that because of the political structure that we have. Diba? Anong political structure? Yung political theories na yan dahil sa gobyerno. Yung kultura, minsan sinasabi natin na mag-aasawa na lang ako kasi ganun din naman ang buhay eh. Diba? Mag-aaral ka, wala ka rin anong gusto mo? Magbubungkal, mag-aaral ka pero wala kang makain. That is terms of culture. We're going to look on it in different aspects. So poverty, it is a very old social issues during the emergence of the first civilization. We already have a problem regarding to poverty even up to now. So malalaman ano ba yung mga causes niyan, di ba? Sabi nga nabigyan na ng limit si Bernadette sa next meeting na daw yung mga cause and effect, di ba, ng poverty. But nevertheless, poverty is everywhere. We cannot able to end the problem pertaining to poverty, but we can able to sustain the simple life of everybody na hindi man nagugutom. Ibig sabihin, hindi man pwedeng mayaman tayo lahat, pero ang nais lang natin mangyari sa ating lipunan, natutugunan yung ating basic needs and wants. Hindi man pwedeng luxury. Iba naman yung hinihingi. Ang hinihingi ng isang simpleng Pilipino ay ma-meet yung basic needs, makakain, di ba, makapamuhay ng maayos. Kaya nga babalik tayo sa human rights, yung right to life, di ba? Makakain mo yung gusto mo. Hindi ko masabing kumain ka ng sobra-sobra. Nabibili mo kahit paano yung gusto mo. Hindi ka masyadong mayaman, pero nakakayanan mo, hindi ka yung isang tukan na bukas, iisipin mo anong kakainin mo. So, in terms of, I really learn about one of the example of Bernadette. Ay, hindi mo pa nasasagot, Bernadette. Teka, saan probinsya nga ulit kayo? Anong probinsya niyo, Bernadette?
Zamboanga del Norte po.
Kayo, di po na ibig sabihin, ang sabi mo kanina about yung, hindi talaga makamubot, about white corn and yellow corn. Talagang iba yung white corn sa inyo. Pag sabi white corn, medyo yung panlasa. Tama ba ako?
Yes po.
Yung yellow corn, walang masyadong dating sa Zamboanga. Okay. Medyo baliktad dito, no? Para ba sa atin?
Baliktad po dito, sir.
Para bang more on tayo, no? Yellow corn naman. Parang ganun din eh. Iba yung iba yung pamumuhay sa rural eh. For example, way back 2017, nakipamuhay kami ng aking mga estudyante sa Mindoro for less than a month because we conducted a research. Di ba? Mayroon kami isang research sa Mindoro. Nakita namin yung simpleng pamumuhay doon. Sabi namin, pag sa probinsya ka, hindi mo kailangan masyado maraming pera. Ang malaga meron ka nakakain. Di ba? Meron ka matanim. Natuto kami makapamuhay sa mamang yan eh. Naliligo kami sa ilog, di ba? Nagigising kami alas 6 Kasi yung batch ng aking estudyante before, ang gusto lang maging research, medyo kakaiba. So, I encourage them. So, gusto niyo pala maging kakaibang research nyo, let's go to Mindoro and we will analyze the culture of our Mangyan brothers. Talaga nakipamuhay kami doon. Ang kinakain namin doon ay mga gulay. And special, ang sarap ng karne. Yung tinatawag ng mga baboy ramo, mga native pig. Nakakala lang parang aso na para bang sa urban ang nakakala dito mga kaling aso. Doon sa pinuntahan namin, makakita ka sa tabi-tabi ng baboy. Diba, tabi ko, iba talaga as long as hindi mo kailangan ng maraming pera as long as na natutugunan mo pangailangan mo. Nakakaparad mo. Kaya tipid kami eh. Pagtingin mo dyan, liligo ka lang, kakain ka lang, para bang ang bagal ng oras. Pero even though mabagal ang oras, ang sarap naman ng buhay. That is one of our experience. Dito man sa urban, di ba? Kailangan mo talaga magpursige. Kasi una-una, kung wala kang pera, wala ka namang tatanom dito eh. Talagang pinatatakbo tayo ng ating kita, ng ating pera na kailangan mo matugunan ang pangailangan mo. And that is an issue. Poverty is a big issue. If majority of the citizens are lack of they are lacking of basic needs, di ba? They are lacking of basic needs wherein they cannot able to be satisfied enough pertaining to their needs and wants. So we will continue our lesson.